Hey everybody, and welcome to the very first Renorah Wellness Watch. I'm Duran, your host, and the founder of Renorah. So the point of this program is to help surface any news or any new information and updates out in the world right now based on weight loss, wellness, fitness, health, nutrition, mindfulness, any of that kind of stuff that's out there. And to do so, I personally use on my daily, in my daily reading, ground news. So I'm going to use ground news to surface any news articles or reports that are out there based on this kind of content that is more tailored for Renorah and those who actually want to understand more about health and wellness, specifically weight loss, most particularly. Now, this is all non-scripted. A lot of this stuff, I'm going to be reading you guys some of the news, giving you some highlights, and then giving my opinion on some of the content that I'm surfacing here. So, I hope you guys enjoy it. If you guys like this, make sure you leave a like, a comment on whatever platform you're watching this on, and I'll know to start making more of these videos. I want to start making these videos either daily or at least several times a week, depending on the news coming out. This is based on any research that's coming out, anything about farming, and again, all that health and wellness parts of the industries. So let's just go ahead and dive right into this. Just so you know, this is all non-edited, so I do ramble sometimes. Forgive me up front. All right, so I actually want to talk about, there's several things that we're going to talk about today. We're going to cover. There's two reports coming out right now about GLP-1 drugs. GLP-1 drugs, if you're not familiar with, are things like Ozempic, Renorah, Zepbound, and Roe, and other injection drugs that are right now being used for weight loss. Originally, they were for diabetics. The first one is coming out of the UK. Now, it was originally published 3 days ago, but it was updated earlier today. And it is about weight loss and diabetes jab, thus the GLP-1 drugs, linked to potential fatal side effects. Now, personally, I use, like I said, ground news on my daily news aggregate content. So for all my daily news, when I'm trying to get caught up on what's going on in the world, in our country, in our local community, I use ground news. Now, I will say I am not sponsored. I have nothing to do. I don't make money off ground news. I personally just use it and I love it. That is to say, if ground news wants to sponsor me, I'm not going to say no to that. However, I use it because I like content that is more center-based or non-biased, I should say. And ground news really does give you a better understanding of where biases lie and who's reporting, who's not reporting content. And it also gives me the chance to give feedback based on different political parties that happen to be reporting on certain things. Now, personally, as time goes on, I think you'll understand where I lean. However, I try to get my news on all sides so that I can make a very informed decision on whatever I believe or whatever I follow, or where I vote and whatnot. So with that being said, I'm going to be reading mostly the content directly from the center, and I will give some responses where available to the bias comparisons between right and left on some of the information. So anyways, like I said, weight loss and diabetes jab linked to potential fatal side effects coming out of the UK. On June 29th, the UK regulators launched a study into GLP-1 side effects after hundreds of pancreatitis reports involving drugs like Ozempic, Wegovy, I've heard it pronounced several ways, and Renorah, again, GLP-1 drugs. In response to hundreds of reports of pancreatitis since early this year, UK regulators launched a study involving over 400 cases, including 181 linked to tirzepatide and other semaglutide drugs. Forgive me, I am not good on pronouncing these medical terminologies or words. I wish they would make it more normalized. Anyways, the MHRA and Geometics England called for hospitalized pancreatitis patients to report via yellow card. Not completely sure what yellow card is. Let me take a look at that. It's coming out of the UK, so let's take a look over at chat. Now, chat, what is yellow card in the UK? Let's see. In the UK, the yellow card is a government-run system used to collect and monitor information on the safety of medications and medical devices. All right, well, that answers that. And provide saliva samples to study genetics, susceptibility to GLP-1 side effects. Okay, so they're looking at the potential of GLP-1 drugs essentially being linked to negative side effects, harmful side effects. Now, I will say, if you don't already know from any of my other videos or conversations, I'm a supporter of GLP-1 use. I believe it's a great tool. Now, that I'm going to say that with a caveat, based on what we know now. We know there are possible side effects, or there are side effects to the drug for some people. From my personal experience and people I know that have used it, and from the things I've read, side effects are minimal, but some people do have side effects, most commonly nausea or diarrhea. There are supposedly more severe side effects, but there are ongoing studies. These are new drugs. But at this time, at this moment in time, here on, June 29th, 2025, from the knowledge and reports we have right now, I am a very big supporter of GLP-1 drug use. I think it's a great tool. Now, where I have a big problem with it is where people tend to, and doctors seem to be doing this too, prescribing the drug, but not informing people of how to use it right, like a tool. Now, a lot of people are starting to take these drugs as a new diet or a new lifestyle ability or lifestyle solution. I don't know exactly the right word I'm looking for here, but essentially they think that they can either do one of two things. Either they'll take the drug for a little while, get to that ideal weight, stop the drugs, and a lot of people think that, well, that's it, I'm done, I'm at my ideal weight. But they're going to start gaining that weight back and going right back to where they were. Like a rubber band being stretched, let go, they're going to snap right back. They haven't learned how to maintain that new healthy weight and with a new healthy lifestyle. The other people are the people who will take the drug and just stay on it. They're just going to stay on it. Their idea is to stay on it for the rest of their life, keep taking this drug, and that's it. And both of those are not great choices. What they need to do, and what people need to start thinking of these drugs as, and the same with diets too, is they are tools to get you to a certain point in your weight journey, in your weight loss journey, in your health and wellness journey. And then once you're there, you need to get off these diets, off these drugs, which the food industries or the diet industries, they don't want you to leave those drugs. They don't want you to leave those diets. They want you to be on those things nonstop. You constantly are seeing these pushes in movies and TV shows and in reports, and just people in general, where they say, oh, I wanted to lose 10 pounds for the summer so I can fit into my bikini or whatever, look good on the beach. And they'll say, I went on this drug or I went on this diet and I got to that weight and I was good for the summer. And then next year they'll do the same thing again because they don't live a better, healthier lifestyle. But if they had changed their lifestyle, if they had learned better habits and changed their mindset, and worked on a workout routine or exercise routine, they would not have to keep going on these drugs or on these diets. They would be able to just live a normal, healthy life. So I'm going to do a quick plug here for my company, Renorah. What I've done is through my own personal journey. I was over 550 pounds at my worst. I averaged around the 450 pound range for a majority of my life. But about 2.5-3 years ago, I was around over 325 pounds. And I lost the weight. And I lost the weight, which I'll go into another video, but I lost the weight because I learned how my body works, how our bodies work, how food works with our body, how to exercise. There's a lot of things I had to learn to not just lose the weight, but to actually maintain the weight loss. And that's very important, is that maintenance. How you get to the final route, or that final point of losing weight, is part of it. But maintaining it for the rest of your life, that's the big component. So I built Renorah with the help of a good friend of my family's from Buffalo. He owns a great medical company called Patient Advantage. He and I worked together. We created this course. It's 16-week courses, a 16-week module course, where we take you through every single part of understanding your body, how to reset your mind, how nutrition works, how food works with your body, understand your metabolism, getting out there and moving right. And we work through 16 separate modules to give you the knowledge and understanding of how to lose weight if you are looking to, or if you're on a diet, or if you're on one of these GLP-1 drugs, how to make sure that when you get to that ideal goal, whatever your goal happens to be, that you'll be able to transition into a normal life where you can eat all the foods that everyone else eats, but you'll learn how to eat them in a healthy way, how to prepare foods, when to eat, what to eat, quantities to eat, how to move, when to move, what kind of exercises are healthy for you, how to reset your mind so you can get over cravings, get over the humps, get over plateaus, things like that. So that's what we do at Renorah. We also have health coaches, dedicated one-on-one health coaches that meet with you every single month. And they work with you to prepare a nutrition plan, an exercise plan, tailored specifically for you. You also have mentors that are in there that give you support, something I wish I had during my entire journey. There's so many times over my life I tried losing weight, and one of the hardest things was I didn't have support. I didn't have people not just cheering me on like cheerleaders, but give me actionable content, telling me what I'm doing right or wrong. Noticing people who are looking at my weight loss journey or my attempt to have weight loss in the past, and say, look, you're doing this wrong, or you need to do this instead, or this part's really good, keep going. That's what we give you. We give you the health coaches, we give you the mentors, and then we have a community we're building of like-minded individuals who are in the exact same place you are, and they just need some support, they need help, they need the knowledge. So that's what Renorah does. And like I said, I'm a big supporter of GLP-1 drugs. I believe that they're a great tool to use to get to that final weight in a relatively decent amount of time, a year and a half, whatever it happens to be, depending on your starting weight and your final goal. But once you get to that weight, you need to be able to transition into a healthier lifestyle. All right, so anyways, let's look at what the bias comparison is on this. So left-leaning outlets foreground the mounting health risks of GLP-1 weight loss drugs, repeatedly invoking emotional charged terms like life-threatening illness and deaths, and calling for tighter NHS, for those that are not from the UK, National Health Services, oversight to curb soaring popularity and underreported harms, where the right says, in contrast, the right leaning sources emphasize personal success narratives and downplay restrictions, reframing the drug as overwhelming beneficial despite rare yet deadly side effects, often using alarmist language such as sparks warning to express skepticism towards pharmaceutical oversight. All right, so I see this whole thing as a very laughable for me. So the whole right and left thing, if I'm not mistaken, now during COVID, I lived in China. I wasn't in the U.S., but I was an outsider watching in. Now I was born and raised in the U.S. I just happened to be living abroad for a majority of my life. And at that time it was China. And I remember watching the news and seeing how the left was screaming, take the drugs for COVID, take them. Don't worry about side effects. Don't worry that we didn't do any research. You have to take them. You have to take them. It doesn't matter the risks. Now they're saying, no, let's slow down. Let's not encourage people to take these drugs. Let's slow down and check the risks. First off, there's going to be risks no matter what people do. And when it comes to medications, there's always side effects. Some are very mild, some are very severe. But there are side effects, and you as an individual must be able to make the determination, is it a side effect you're willing to take on? And on the right side, they're downplaying it now and saying, oh, well, it's okay, take the drugs, don't worry, we're still figuring out the risks. Sure, there's some risks, but during the COVID, they're the ones that were saying, we're not taking these drugs, do all the research first. So I just find it interesting. It really just depends on, every situation is completely different with them. And even if they contradict themselves in a future situation, they don't care, because they just need to win an argument. Personally, I have a problem with the left in situations like this. There's a lot of times they push that agenda, that woke ideology of body positivity, fat acceptance, things that I do not get down with. I think they're horrible and disgusting. And they're deadly. I mean, we see so many influencers who are body positivity, fat acceptance influencers, that actually have died already because of their overweight. And I'm not laughing at them, but I mean, I think it's very interesting that these people are out there telling people, don't worry that you're fat. Don't worry that you're obese. Fat is lovable. Be happy in your own body. No. You should not be. I was morbidly obese, and I'm sure at this point somewhere in the video I've done some overlays of my own photos. If not, I'll do it now. But I was morbidly obese for a majority of my life. I was disgustingly obese, all right? I was that guy that would walk, or that would sit next to you on the airplane, and you would be pissed that you have to sit next to me, because my fat would roll over into the next seat. I'm the guy that when I sat in a car, the whole car, goes down. I'm that guy that was at the restaurant sweating before he even ate, just sitting there. That was me. And it is not okay to live like that. You can do whatever you want, but it is not okay to normalize that. And that's what I feel the left does. So when it says, well, this is, we need an oversight and curb soaring popularity. Well, there's curb soaring popularity. Why? Because people are getting healthier. They're losing weight. They're getting less obese. I don't know why I tend to put a T on obese. Okay. Anyways, they tend to not want that. They want people to be different and outliers. Then they can use those as rallying cries for other crap. And well, yeah, I mean, that's really where I stand. So as far as the GLP-1 drugs, I'm a big supporter of it. Now today we're actually going to do two, for this very first video, we're going to do two news reports about GLP-1s. The second one is coming out about a company called Eli Lilly's oral GLP-1, let me go back to center, oral GLP-1 pill matches injectable, eyes approval by end of year. Now this is interesting. I came across this today, and it's actually an article from 8 days ago, updated 4 days ago. But this company, Eli Lilly, announced today, when it was written 4 days ago, at the American Diabetes Association meeting, that its daily pill, orforglipron, or whatever, showed effective weight loss and blood sugar reduction in a phase 3 trial involving type 2 diabetes patients. Now, for those that are not familiar with GLP-1s, why this is so interesting, and actually I called this about a year ago that something like this was coming down the pipe. So GLP-1 drugs are injections. You have to inject them in your stomach, into the thigh, one of these fatty meaty areas. And the idea, you do it once a week, not every day like this pill. But a lot of people have not done the GLP-1s because they're scared of needles. They don't want to do the injectors. I've done B12 shots before, They're not that bad. They feel like, for the most part, like a prick, very small prick. It's not really that painful. It's more psychological, in my opinion, and at least in my experience with those. But the idea was that if people really started wanting GLP-1s, I knew they were eventually going to make some sort of pill edible item. Now, I've already read ahead, so I know what they're about to say, and they're going to talk about the effectiveness, which is very true in any situation. If you have the ability to inject a medication or drug or vitamins or whatever versus taking it orally, the injections are always going to be better. They go right into the system. They don't have to do the slow process through the digestive system and whatnot. So let's continue. The trial tested 3 doses. The trial tested 3 doses over 40 weeks in 559 patients, and a mid to confirm the name of the brand or the drug. Efficiency comparable to the injectable GLP-1 drugs like Ozempic and tirzepatide. The highest dose led to nearly 8%, this is very important, weight loss, and blood sugar levels dropped 1.3 to 1.6% with side effects, gastrointestinal. Yeah, gastrointestinal. Geez, I do not know why I have such a problem with these kind of words. Actually, I do know. I lived abroad most of my life, and coming back and speaking English on a daily, there are certain words that I just cannot get out right. Anyways, excuses aside, gastrointestinal side effects similar to other GLP-1 medications, including diarrhea and vomiting, nausea. So the important thing I wanted to point out here is the 8%. So for GLP-1 injection drugs, from what I was told and what I've read, it was around 20% body weight loss is the expectation. Now that's, again, assuming you don't do anything to change your lifestyle, don't do anything to change your eating habits, your workout regimens, none of that. You could lose around 20% of your body weight. Now with the edibles or pill forms, they're 8%. So there's your difference, right? Like I said before, injections are usually going to come out giving better results. They're better, just better results on whatever you're taking, right? Vitamins, nutrients, medications. So that shows it. I'm not familiar with blood sugar levels as far as diabetics go, but I'm assuming if they're going to eventually release this for diabetic patients, then it's significant. Now, they also said this is at the highest dose. So GLP-1 drugs, I believe, go from 0.5 milligrams or 0.25 milligrams up to 15 milligrams. So I'm assuming this is the highest of whatever milligrams they could do for pill form. So anyways, the last part here, Lilly intends to submit regulatory findings for their drug as a weight management treatment by the end of 2025 and aims to do the same for its use in diabetes care in 2026, while continuing studies to assess its impact on individuals without diabetes. Now, I found this interesting personally. So they're trying to push to release the drug by the end of this year, 2025, for weight loss only, which tells me that they see where the money's at, right? They're trying to push the thing that's going to make them the most money, which is weight loss. So they're trying to make a new weight loss pill, and if it works just like GLP-1s, then it's going to do some phenomenal work. And of course, prices are coming down too on those. But even though it was originally created for diabetes, they're going to hold off on the diabetes. And as they say here, while they continue studies to assess the impact on individuals without diabetes. So they're doing the weight loss part first, releasing it, before they finish the studies for the effect on those people that are taking it for weight loss that don't have diabetes. That's kind of, that gives me pause. Again, are we going to expect side effects? Absolutely. If it's the first version of these pills, personally, I would say avoid them. That would be my own personal opinion. And the reason being is just like any technology, right? Let's look at the Apple Vision headset. First iteration, not really that good. But if they start building newer ones with feedback and whatnot, we'll get better and better versions. Same thing with the iPhones or with computers or with drones or anything else. Those first iterations are usually not the best. You wait, you see how people respond in the market. Those who really want to jump on the bandwagon, just hold back a second. And if they start growing a third head or or something else, or teeth start falling out, then you know what, maybe I shouldn't do that. And if people seem not to be having major side effects, give it some time. Just make sure you do your research before you try anything. Anyways, on this, just a bias comparison. Left-leaning coverage, again, this is the US versus before we were talking about the UK. Left-leaning coverage cautiously highlights the drug's potential to expand global access by overcoming injection and refrigeration barriers, emphasizing equitable healthcare outcomes, and expect endorsements of improved adherence, using terms like big deal and reframing it as promising but scrutinized innovation. So the refrigeration, barrier that they're referring to is the GLP-1 injection drugs need to be refrigerated. Obviously, if it's pill form, I doubt it's going to need to be refrigerated, and obviously from what they're saying. And healthcare, equitable healthcare outcomes. I mean, it definitely, the barrier that I see is really the injections. People who are scared to take injections, or they feel personally they have that psych out situation where they just can't imagine putting a needle into themselves. So in contrast, the right-leaning outlets accentuate the drug as a blockbuster commercial potential and competitive dynamics against Novo Nordisk, which is actually very important. If you don't know, that's the company that I believe from Europe started the GLP-1, or discovered, invented, whatever, GLP-1 drugs, and it's European based. And this company, Eli Lilly, they're an American company. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, employing confident language such as dominating the market and easing concerns about side effects, projecting a tone of optimism. See, that thing about side effects, I don't know about that, because as they say themselves, they're going to release it for weight loss, then release it for diabetes, and while they're still checking for side effects and potential issues for those that aren't on diabetes. So I don't like the way they're reporting that. But so, as going back to what I was saying about Novo, so Novo's a European company. Lilly is an American company, which means the money being spent is going to stay in the U.S. Money, any of these drugs sold abroad are coming back to the U.S. versus money from the U.S. going out to Europe. And I think with the whole American First movement and Trump's agendas on that kind of stuff, this would actually fit very well into today's political atmosphere. So, all right. You know what? I think I'm going to cut it here for today, or at least for this segment. I hope you guys liked it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I don't know what you guys think. Hopefully I'll get a little bit better at reading and giving you guys my opinion and talking about this kind of stuff. But if you guys enjoyed it, I would appreciate you hitting the like, subscribe, and give me a comment. Let me know what you think. And go ahead and make fun of me as far as my ability to read certain words. Sometimes I want to slap myself when since coming back to the U.S. I've only been back in the U.S. about 3 years. But since coming back, man, my ability to pronounce certain words or read certain words has really gone downhill. But that's what happens when you don't use the English language as your primary choice of language for so long. Anyways, that being said, again, Renorah, my company. We're here to support those who are looking to lose weight, or currently if you're taking a GLP-1 drug or on a diet and you're thinking to yourself, man, what am I going to do when I finally get to my ideal weight? Am I going to just backslide and go right back to the way it was? You don't have to. Come check us out. In fact, I'm going to put a link in the description of wherever you're seeing this for a link to a free 3-day trial. Come check us out, learn a little bit, and see what we have to offer. Because if you learn what we have to teach you, and if you work with your health coach, you'll have your own private one-on-one health coach every month, and you work with us and follow the system, you're going to get educated and understand the knowledge you need so you don't go back to the way you were. And that is really my goal. I want people to live a healthier, happier life. I want people that are out there to find what I found, which is true happiness in my own body, because my body is healthy, because I'm able to walk without sweating. I'm able to eat without sweating. I'm able to sit in a chair without worrying if it's going to buckle. I mean, these are the things I get to do now that I'm in a healthy body, finally. And healthy body is not, now thin bodies are not necessarily healthy bodies, but healthy bodies are not obese. That's a fact. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed this first video. Come check us out. I'm going to be doing these videos on a regular. I'm going to try to put out a bunch of them every week, maybe several a day. Yeah, I guess until later, stay healthy, stay awesome, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.